Hello. Good morning to you. You live in a shoe. It is 8:05 p.m. and Tanya and I just went and got pedicures. My feet look so good. And I also got a sugar rub and the stone thing, which I love so much. And yeah, so we did that. And I got up today and I wrote for a little bit. I made some videos. I read. It's been an awesome day today. And I am getting ready to go and meet Alex. I'm going to run by the house really quick and change. I think I'm going to put on some jeans. I'm getting ready to meet Alex at Cheesecake Factory. We are meeting our friend Luce there with her boyfriend, who I don't really know very well. But we'll have fun anyway. I'm excited. So we're doing that tonight. And then I was going to do a live stream, but it'll have a lot to do with what time I get home, so we'll just have to see. I wanted to do a live stream earlier today, but it is what it is. Yeah, so it has been a good day. I'm trying to think of what I did. I went to the phone place. The guy who originally helped me with my phone totally fixed my phone. He like switched one switch, and he's like, now it's totally fine. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think that I'm gonna have to like switch. I don't know. He was like, I think something's wrong with your like Wi-Fi at home, so I'm gonna have to look into that. And then, but he was super, super nice. And I got the phone fixed. And then after that, what did I do? I got a coffee. But Tanya and I, she just got a fountain pop and I got a water. I watched a tutorial today on YouTube on how to fix the camera from overheating. I have so many of those like Swell water bottles, and can you hear them clanking together back there? I looked in, okay, I watched videos on how to, or I watched a video on how to fix the internal temperature light on my camera. So we're gonna see if it works, because it is now stopping at like 10 or 11 minutes. And basically, if you have a camera, if you have like a Sony camera or Canon or whatever that it does that, all you do is you switch it to the movie thing, which I had it on like the individual setting because I think it's clearer. But all it tells you to do is move it to the movie setting, and then it's supposed to like be able to record longer so it doesn't overheat. And we'll see if that we'll see if it works. I don't know. I'm going with the guy was like, that's all. I didn't watch the whole video. I only watched it halfway through. But he like showed it and he was like, this is all you have to do is you just switch this switch, which I switched it. So I'm hoping that that'll work. You know, who knows? And I want to read a little bit tonight and relax. I thought my hair appointment was tomorrow, but it's actually on Friday, which kind of like throws my day off a little bit because I was supposed to meet with somebody for coffee. But it's going to be a close call, so it'll either be a very short coffee or, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here and film for a couple minutes. Tanya and I had so much fun. We were watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy when we were at the nail salon. And she got her toenails painted white. Wheel of Fortune is really hard these days. I was telling Tanya, she was like, I said, I watch Game Show Network like all the time. And like really honestly, what I love about Game Show Network is that I love that it is like happy TV. Like it's just happy, you know? It's like people trying to win some money. There's like nothing real sad and depressing about it, I guess, unless your favorite doesn't win. But it just isn't really like sad, you know? It's like kind of happy, and there's like, I don't know, it's just laughter and fun. And I like that. Like I you know, and I think that's what I miss a little bit about watching it when I was younger, and I've been watching so much of it lately. The problem is I don't know a lot of the shows today. Like I'm very confused by a lot of the shows. I do not look real good in a V-neck shirt. Can you see? I hate it. It makes me look 10 times fatter than I already am. But I do, like the shows that I used to watch back in the day, like I loved Sale of the Century. I loved The Price is Right. I loved Family Feud, and I still watch that. But you know, I'm not a huge, it's interesting because I watch so much Family Feud because it's always on. And I did watch the Kardashians on Family Feud, but I'm not the biggest Family Feud fan in the entire world. Like, I liked Let's Make a Deal. Oh, what else did I like? I liked Pyramid, $25,000 Pyramid. I love Jeopardy. I love Wheel of Fortune. I like the quiz shows or the game shows. We called them game shows back in the day. I love the game shows that, like, I can actually be kind of good at. I was telling Tanya, like, my grandma was so funny back in the day. I would watch Price is Right with her, like, in the summers when she would, like, watch me or whatever, you know? And she'd sit there and she'd smoke her Salem Lights, and it'd be like, how, this Brillo pad, da-da-da-da-da-da, and she'd go, 39 cents! And she'd get it, like, I could be like, Grandma, how do you know exactly how much this stuff is? And she'd be like, because I go to the grocery store all the time. She knew everything. She knew exactly the price of all of that stuff. She always wanted to go on the Price is Right. My mom always wanted to be on the Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy. My mom was so good at Jeopardy, and my grandma was so good at Price is Right. My mom loved Jeopardy. She always wanted to go on Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. She could get those Wheel of Fortunes like that. Like, she could just look at it and, like, sometimes guess it without even a letter. I'd be like, how do you know that? Tonight, Tanya was so funny. She was like, why do we not just have, like, normal Wheel of Fortune? Why does it have to be, like, before and after? It's like all these things that we didn't used to have back in the day, you know? And none of them make sense. Like, one of them tonight was, go right, no right turn, red peppers. What does that mean? I don't understand that. No, I'm like sitting here, is it a pun? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. No right turn, red peppers. And it was before and after. No right turn, red peppers. I don't get it. Like, am I that dumb? I kept on saying it. All the women in the place were laughing at me because I was like, I don't get it, Tanya. Am I dumb? Am I that stupid? No right turn on red. That must be what it means. And then it's just like one saying and then another saying. So, like, no right turn on red, peppers. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they even? That is the most confusing thing. She won $27,000 for that one alone, though. And then she just did, like, now they have all these things, like, she was, like, on 1,000, and it was called, like, Speed 1,000 or something like that, and she just kept on guessing letters. Well, she already knew what it was, so she guessed, like, 14 letters and got it to $27,000. Which I had just said about her before. I said, look at that poor woman, she didn't even have $1 up there, then she won the whole game. She didn't win any car, though. Back in the day, when I would do, I would play Price is Right, when I would play it, which means, like, this camera I feel like is so much clearer than my other camera. Do you guys feel like that? I feel like it's so much clearer. But back in the day, when I would, like, watch Wheel of Fortune, not Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right. When I would watch Price is Right and play it along with it, like, I would do the showcases, and I would always, like, say, okay, Peter, you get to get one showcase. I always wanted the ones with the trips. Like, I did not want the ones with the cars. I didn't want the ones with the brand new dune buggy. I didn't want the ones with no dune buggies. I didn't want the 2 computers. I didn't want any of that shit, okay? A brand new kitchen set. I didn't want any of that. I wanted the trips, okay? 6 nights and 7 days in Acapulco. That's what I wanted. I wanted to go to Acapulco. Why is it that back in the day, everybody used to go to Acapulco, okay? Acapocalypse. Everybody used to go to Acapulco back in the day. Like, Love Boat went there. On TV shows, they were always there. In movies, they were always there. And they always gave away trips to Acapulco. But now that's not the case. Nobody goes to Acapulco anymore. Everybody goes to, like, you know, the islands or Cancun. Maybe I still want to go to Acapulco. Who knows? I've never been there. I heard it's pretty. Anywhere's pretty, you know? Well, I'm almost at 10 minutes and the light hasn't come on, so that's a good thing. We'll see how well it works. All right, listen, I'm going to get off here because I got to run inside and change really quick into something. I don't know. I did a load of wash, of course, the day that I need something to wear. So all of my shorts that I want to wear are in the washing machine right now. I haven't dried them yet. All right, you guys, I'll be back in a little while. Hello, I'm back. Okay. Just got done with dinner. And we had a really good time. we went to, does it look like really red again tonight? I think it's this color. I think every time I wear this like kind of greenish, bluish color, it kind of does that to my face, so I'm sorry. We went to Cheesecake Factory, and it was Alex and me and Alex, and then it was our friend that he works with, that he usually goes to dinner with on Wednesday nights, and then it was his friend that he grew up with and her new boyfriend. I guess she's dated him for like 6 months. And we had a blast. It was so funny. We were sitting there telling all these stories from like when I first met her and like our first couple years together, and like just crazy stories of us like being out in Indianapolis and all these funny stories I had forgotten about. It was like a little stroll down memory lane. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I love doing that, you know, just telling little stories and stuff. And it is currently 11:10 p.m. and so I'm vlogging a little bit earlier tonight. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna vlog a little bit earlier, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna read for like an hour, and then I'm going to go to bed. And that's about the size of it. And it is like the color, I think, is a dead result of the shirt that I wear. So anyway, you know, sometimes it's funny because like my allergies are driving me nuts tonight. I've got to schedule an eye appointment. I went to Costco today to get contacts, and my prescription expired on the 7th. So I have to get another eye exam, but she doesn't have any appointments until after I get back. And so, I'm gonna have to find someplace else to go get an eye exam at, I guess. And then get the contacts. Because we are leaving on vacation soon, so I need to get that taken care of, and I don't know that I'm gonna be able to get an appointment before we leave. Do you ever think it would be like, it's smart to leave like napkins and paper towels in your car? I have like a napkin down here because my coffee was leaking earlier. I have a paper towel down there. I should just keep paper towels in my car at all times. But it's funny because, like, you know, Alex and I have been together. It'll be 10 years in August, and 7 years married that we've been together. 7 years we've been married, 10 years we've been together. And, it seems so weird that we've been married that long, you know? Like, it really seems weird sometimes. And, like, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. But then other times it seems like we've been together forever. But like 10 years is a long time. And when we were telling the stories tonight, I was like, you know, Alex and I are so different now than we were 10 years ago. It's weird how you kind of like grow up, and you know, I was 36 when I met him and he was 24, and I didn't really know his family and his friends, and now like his friends are my friends are his friends, our families are each other's families, you know. And I think sometimes I take that stuff for granted, you know. Like, it's funny, a friend said something about, yeah, like, you're such a part of Alex's family. I said, I know, I have, you know, nephews and I have a godson now, you know, that I never thought I would have. And you know, my family loves Alex, and it's just, it's a great life. And you know, I tell so many stories on this vlog, but like sometimes it's nice to like, I mean, I tell funny stories, I tell sad stories, I tell all of them, you know, but like those stories are really like pieces of your life when you look back on them, you know, and like those moments. Like, we were telling these stories, I was like, God, I can't believe, like, some of those, it's so crazy to me, some of these things that happen. You know, we were talking about the first time that I saw Alex salsa dance, and it was like this bar here, and it used to be like a big bar that a lot of like Latino people would go to on like Thursday nights, because they had like a salsa dancing contest there, and salsa dancing, it was like always packed, and I loved it. And then I was thinking about, like, you know, the first Halloween that I spent with, like, his mom, and we went to, like, this Halloween party, and Alex made me, like, dance with his mom, and then after that, like, you know, him meeting my mom's side of the family, and us going to the grave site, and out to dinner, and then Christmas and Thanksgiving, that first year together, and, we had such, like, different lives, you know, like, our lives looked so different at that time, like, and I was actually, like, probably, like, a year, you know, I had been broken up for almost a year, well, 9 months before Alex and I met, and, but, like, I very quickly, like, started going out again, and I had, like, you know, several friends that I would go out to, and, my friend Liz and I, like, we were out all the time dancing. From, like, my ex and I broke up at the beginning of December, and, like, from January on, we were, like, that January, actually, we were, at the Connection in Louisville, and, like, after that, like, we were inseparable. We were always out, like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, and that was kind of, like, a liberating period of my life for me. It was, like, I don't know, it was just, like, fun. Like, I had so much fun, and I was working out, I was running, I felt great, but I was also very, like, numb when my mom got sick. I kind of checked out, and then after that, I don't know, it was interesting. It's like, you know, I started this blog after my mom passed away, and it was called Suicide Birds and Seahorses. It's still up, but I would write it because, really, to be honest, I was, like, very lonely. Like, if it wasn't a weekend, or if I wasn't going out of town to visit my friend that lived in Denver, I was, like, very much alone, like, just alone, and, I would drive around, and I wasn't really so much into audiobooks at that time. I would listen to them, but I wasn't, like, I would listen to music mostly, and I would just kind of, like, think, and then, like, it's almost kind of like this, but then I would go home. I gotta turn the air on, it is so hot in here. But then I would go home, and I would write, like, a blog entry. And what's interesting about that is it was really cathartic for me. Like, I really feel like I was going through some major life changes in that point in my life, and even though it was like, okay, you left your job, you left a relationship, your mom passed away, you moved, all this kind of stuff, like, I didn't really recognize, like, what was interesting was, you know, like, so I got my mom's condo when she passed away, but, like, I wasn't really staying there. Like, I still had my apartment, and so I kind of would go back and forth between the condo and my apartment because my lease wasn't up yet, so I didn't just, like, move out of it. Like, I kind of went back and forth, and, like, the condo very much felt to me like a safe place, and the apartment seemed very, like, it was like a transition. Like, my ex basically took everything with him when he left, except for, like, a couch and a table and a bed in the bed. But, like, all the pictures he took down, like, and it was barren, and it was depressing, you know, and I did not like being at the apartment. And the condo reminded me of my mom. But then I started, like, buying new things for the condo and taking things over there that would have been mine. And I slowly started making it my own. Moving furniture around, making things different. And, you know, I think that one of the things is that, like, my mom and I had very similar tastes. And, like, I always wanted my house to look like a brownstone in Chicago or New York, you know, like, inside with, like, lots of artwork, kind of eclectic. I wanted a mix between, like, modern and antiques, like, and my mom and I had very similar, interests when it came to, like, you know, decorating. And, so, I mean, I kept the things I wanted. A lot of the things that she had, I got rid of. There were a lot of pieces that I just, like, gave to people. I was like, I don't want these. It's interesting, like, two of the things, and like I rarely ever show them in a video, that were really important to me was one is gone because it broke, was this chrome reading lamp that would like come over, and it was like, she got it, and my parents got it and this chair at this place called Scandinavian Design, I think, like way back in the day. And then the chair is in my bedroom now, and it's this black leather chair with a black ottoman, and it's black leather and chrome, and it's gorgeous. I love it, and I'll never get rid of it. And it's super, super modern. Like, you could put it in a house today that was modern and say you just bought it, and like, it's, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It sits in the corner. The lighting is so bad on this thing, you guys. I'm so sorry. I will really make sure I don't wear this greenish, bluish kind of color in the future. But I never used that chair. We actually store the dog's toys on it, and Tucker's really the only one that ever like gets toys off of it, because the rest of the dogs don't. I mean, Pee-Pee plays with Otis and the lady, but other than that, he doesn't like really pay any attention to any of the stuffed animals. But at the same time, there were a lot of things that I got rid of, you know. I didn't want them, or some things kind of like reminded me too much of my mom. I want the mango one. I didn't get rid of any artwork though. My aunt and my mom collected this artwork by this painter here in Indianapolis. She actually died. And it's so sad that an artist alive's work is not worth much, but when they pass away, it's worth more. And her name was J.T. Johnson. And she lived on a street called Talbot Street in Indianapolis. And it's where the old Heron Art School, which was the art, university here in town, was. And she was here forever, and she would like paint watercolors and oil paintings, and she would do it sometimes like on the back of like shopping bags, and she would write poems around it. If you see in the kitchen, the painting that's in the background that's crooked, because I cannot hang it straight, because every time I try to hang it straight, it falls. I just don't think there's like much behind there. This car is like racing behind me. You need to just get to wherever you're getting, and I'm just gonna pull over here. Okay, Susie, have at it there. So anyway, my aunt and my mom collected those, and I remember like always wanting all of them because I love them, and I love the poems on them. And I have like big ones. Like my mom had like bigger ones, but there are smaller ones too. Well, my aunt had like 4 in her bathroom, and then she had 2 bigger ones. And when my aunt passed away, Caroline, I was like, she had them down, and I was like, what happened to the J.T. Johnson paintings? And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, those paintings, Caroline, that were in the bathroom, what happened to those? Your mom said I could have those if something ever happened to her. And she was like, oh, the neighbor down the street thought that those were cute prints. I go, cute prints, Caroline? Well, that light trick didn't work, you guys. The light is back on at 13 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm gonna have to rewatch that video. But I go, cute prints, Caroline. I go, those are very valuable paintings. Plus, I said I wanted the whole collection. And she's like, well, I'll just call her and tell them that you wanted them really badly. And I started crying. I was like, those paintings mean so much to me. Because they reminded me so much of every time I would go and stay at my aunt's house on weekends. You know, she had the J.T. Johnson paintings. My mom had them in her house. And it was my youth. Like, those paintings reminded me of my youth. And now I have all the paintings. I have them all. So I'm very excited about it. But I haven't hung them yet. I don't know why. I mean, we have some hung in our house, but most of them aren't hung. I moved some of them around when I moved. This lighting is so bad because of this color of this shirt. I wish I had like a sweatshirt and I would change it, but I don't. I took the sweatshirt out of here that I had in the back of the car. So some of those things, like, I fought for because they were important to me. And I think about my dad's house, and like, if my dad, something happened to him, God forbid, but like, I think about that, you know, like, there's not, like, things just aren't that important to me. Like, that was the first thing that I had ever felt like that. Like, when people came to my mom's house, and like, if they wanted something, I just gave it to them, you know? There wasn't like really anything that I wanted. My aunt collected Christmas ornaments, and she separated them between myself, Caroline. Well, Caroline separated them between her, myself, and Shannon, Caroline's cousin on her dad's side. And my aunt loved nice things, and so she collected those. I think they're called the Peter Rothko. Is that his name? Rothko ornaments. And so we each got like a third of them, and they're beautiful. And this year I got a little Christmas tree, if you remember, and I put those ornaments up, and they were gorgeous. And I shattered one all over the floor. My aunt would have been so upset. And then she had little Limoges boxes, and I always wanted some of the Limoges boxes, and so she split those up, but Caroline wanted most of those. And it's like, the things just don't, like, things don't mean that much to me, you know, they just really don't, like. And it's interesting because when my mom was sick, and like, you know, I thought about things I wanted to keep, it was like, I really wanted to make sure I kept some of her favorite books and stuff like that, but you can get books at the library. You know, that the record albums that she wrote on, those mean a lot to me because she wrote on them. But really, when it comes to the end, like, the things that are the most important to me are pictures that I have, you know, because those are irreplaceable. But other than that, it's all just stuff, you know, like, I just don't care that much about it anymore. I just don't, you know, it's just stuff. And I think that once you realize that, it like frees you a lot from the world. This is where people are like writing comments already. So you've cleaned out the basement. No, I haven't cleaned out the basement, but that is my goal this summer, is to clean out the basement. But you know, like, I think when you start realizing that, like, stuff doesn't mean that much anymore. And I know you guys probably are like, well, on the heels of you talking about those paintings, but the paintings represented my youth. Like, every time my aunt had this bathroom off her kitchen, and every time I would walk in there, you know, she would have like all of these J.T. Johnson paintings. She had this big one, and then she had these 4 small ones, and she had this blue and white polka dot wallpaper in there, and I loved it. And then she had that blue and white polka dot wallpaper in her living room, or her dining room as well. And I don't know, like, you know, I spent so much time at my aunt's house, and it makes me feel homey, and those paintings make me feel like I'm at home. And no matter if I'm here or living in Miami or wherever I end up moving, you know, I can have those paintings and feel like I'm at home. So those things are important to me. A couple of them, a couple things, you know, a chair, but other than that, like, I mean, I can understand, like, keeping, like, jewelry. There are some things, I'm like, my mom's watch that she wore when she passed away, but what's so funny about it is, it was a tortoiseshell Nike running watch. And I kept it, like, but because it reminds me so much of my mom, because it still smells like her. If I, like, hold it to my nose 10 years later, it still smells just like my mom. It smells like the perfume that she wore. And I even for a long time kept the bottle of perfume that she was using when she passed away. And then I finally just pitched it. I was like, what are you going to do with this? Just whip it out every once in a while and smell it and spray it in the air? And I think to some degree it's like, that's where we don't allow ourselves to move on. And I think, like, moving on and allowing ourselves to have closure is so vital, you know, it's important. And so like, I had to just let go of some of that stuff, you know? I just had to say, I'm not going to sit around and smell perfume and hold sweaters to my chest for 30 years. I don't want to. My mother wouldn't want me to do that. My mother would want me to go on and live my best life. And I think for anybody out there, I think if you really asked yourself what your loved one would want, they would want the same thing for you. They would want you to go on, you know, whether it was a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend, a mother, a father, a grandparent. They would want us to go on and live our best lives, you know? But really, they would. And I even asked my mom one time, she goes, well, I mean, like, I hope you maybe be sad for a little while, you know? She goes, but I would want you to go on with your life. And I remember her saying that. I remember us having that conversation. And that wasn't when she was sick. That was years before. You know, I said, oh, Mom, whatever, if you passed away, how would you want me to, like, you know, be? And she's like, well, I would hope you'd be sad for a little while. But I truly believe if I said to my mom, you know, like, okay, Mom, it's been 10 years, like, she'd say, you need to move on with your life, like, you know. And I know that today. And so, like, Alex actually just called a contractor today because we're, like, getting our bathrooms redone, like, hopefully. So we're trying to start getting estimates on our bathrooms, because that's the next thing. And then after that, we're going to do the kitchen, and then we're going to, I think I do not want our stairs to be wood. Alex really wanted them to be wood before, and I wanted them to be carpet because the dogs have a hard time running up and down the stairs. But I think we're going to do Berber this time. And because it stays cleaner and it's more, it's shorter to the floor. So those are some things that we want to get done in the next year. And then after that, once the basement is completely cleared out, we want to have drywall put up, and we want to make it into like a huge entertainment room down there. Because we're never going to sell the condo. I mean, we're going to keep it forever. We want to have a place in Indianapolis. Alex's family's here. Some of my family is still alive in here. We always want to have a place that we can come and visit. We just want to have a place in Miami too, or around Miami. We're looking closer and closer to Coral Gables, but we want a place that, we can come and go, that we can have as our own. And we thought about maybe letting, Alex's mom and grandma eventually move in there if we're going to Miami, If we had a place, if we had it built so that the basement, had a pull-out bed or whatever. I mean, we could come home for a weekend or a week, and we could stay down in the basement if we had a bathroom down there and stuff, and they could, have it be their own. I would love that. My mom would have loved that, She would have really, really liked that. And she liked people. It was interesting because our neighbor, who's younger, she is constantly putting a blanket out in the backyard and reading and lighting candles and incense and stuff back there. My mom would have loved that somebody was taking advantage of the yard or having a picnic back there, or really enjoying her place, or this, her place. It wasn't my mom's, but you know what I'm saying? She would have loved that. And I said to Alex, I go, let's go out there and sit with her for a little bit. And we went out there and sat for a little bit, and then it started pouring down rain, but we sat on the blanket and just kind of talked for a little bit. And, my mom would have really wanted someone to, play music and cook in the kitchen and really, love her house. That would have meant a lot to her. Because she did love her condo, and she really made it her own, And now we're making it our own. And we've slowly done that. We've gotten rid of, the carpet and wallpaper and, all that kind of stuff. And but that stuff's expensive too. I didn't realize truly how expensive, to get your house done and to get it done well. Not just to get it done, but to get it done and get it done well is expensive. Like countertops and all that kind of stuff. And there are things that you can do that aren't super expensive, like hardware for your kitchen cabinets and bathroom cabinets. That's pretty cheap. And you can hire somebody to paint that stuff, and that's not super expensive. And that really makes stuff look so different, But to have new countertops put in and appliances, that stuff's expensive. To rebuild a shower, we want to rebuild a shower. We want a stone shower in our bathroom, and if you've ever seen the inside of my bathroom, we have a double doors that open into a walk-in closet. Well, we're gonna extend the shower so that the shower is over there, and if there's a private room for a toilet, and then we're not gonna probably have a bathtub, or if we do, we're gonna have another bathtub recreated, and then have the sinks spun around so that when you walk in, it's a bigger bathroom. That's what we want. Because the place is perfect, the perfect size for us and the dogs. It's the perfect size, perfect location. It's, 10 minutes from the north side. It's 10 minutes from downtown. It's centrally located. We love where we're at, I kind of didn't honestly think that I would ever get to be, 45 years old. And I must really look a lot older than that. I have really recently on my main channel gotten a lot of criticism. People are like, you're 45, this is a joke, right? You literally look 60. I mean, I've gotten that so many times. Unless people are just trolling my videos and being assholes, I don't know. I just really don't think that I look that much older. I've seen 60. I don't think I look 60. I think my hair and my beard look 60. I think my skin doesn't look 60 though. But whatever. Gives me 15 years to catch up, I guess. I mean, there's a point when you just don't even care about that stuff, you know? But I guess I just never thought at 45, almost 46, that I kind of would be exactly where I wanted to be in life. So it's really nice because it's like, to have worked your ass off to get to a point where you're kind of like, okay, I'm exactly where I want to be in life. Are there things that I want? Sure. But am I content? I'm absolutely content with where I'm at in my life right now. And then you have to kind of look at that and be like, okay, well, what do I want next? What's my next, you know, mountain to climb? What do I want my next goal to be? And, you know, I think that's the trick in life, is looking at that stuff and, okay, well, you're 45, almost 46, and you get to travel with your husband, and you have a place to call your own, and you have great family, and you have friends that you love to hang out with and do things with, and you love to read and watch. I mean, my life is exactly where I would want it to be. Like, there's not a whole lot more that I want for, you know? And I think it's about staying in gratitude and realizing that, like, you know, I said this in my Peterisms video, but my neighbor was out there today, and she was like, my neighbor's grandma, and she was out there today, and she was checking, like, the tomato bushes to see if there were ripe tomatoes or whatever, and she's like, I was just thinking about having a fresh cut tomato and watching the sunset, and I was like, that's really all I want out of this, you know, this world, is a fresh cut tomato and a sunset. Like, I don't think that's a lot to ask for in the grand scheme of things, and, you know, maybe if we aimed a little lower, maybe more of us would be content with what we have. And I think the lower that I aim, when I aim for the fresh cut tomato and the sunset, life's pretty good. When I aim for things that are so out of my reach, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have dreams, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that when we measure our lives against those of others that have much different lives than we do, then we never feel content with what we have. And I want to be content with what I have. I don't want to settle. I want to continue to challenge myself for more and more and more, and, you know, say, okay, what now? Now that you've climbed this mountain, you have to dream a bigger dream, you know? And I believe that. I believe in dreaming a bigger dream. But I think that, you know, it's like this dichotomy. Like, I remember people used to always say to me, like, it's so interesting that people in sobriety say you have to live one day at a time, but then they tell you to plan for your future and think things through. And I'm like, right, but okay, you plan for the future in today. You live today as today, and in today you plan for your future in today, if that makes sense. So I think that you can aim for the stars, but be grateful for what you have at the same time. If that makes sense, you know? You can be absolutely grateful for the life that you've been given and be content with a tomato and a sunset, but then also shoot for the stars and say, but you know, it would be nice if this happened, and I want to work towards that, you know? Because we only are here but once, as far as I know. I may be proven wrong on that one day, but, you know, like, this is not a dress rehearsal. We're just here once, and we have to make the most of our lives, you know? Like Annie Mame says, some poor suckers are starving to death. Life is a smorgasbord, and some poor suckers are starving to death, you know? It's like when I was reading She's Come Undone, and I love the line in here. There's a line in there where Dolores' husband says, life's a shit sandwich. And, she's telling the story at her grandma's funeral, and she said, did you see I saw this bumper sticker the other day, and you know what it said, Dolores? And she said, it said, life's a shit sandwich. And she goes, that's bullshit. Life's a polka, and don't you ever forget it. And I love that. Life's a polka, and don't you ever forget it. You know, it's like, you gotta dance while you can dance. You gotta enjoy life. You gotta laugh. You gotta have fun with your friends. You gotta make the most of it, you know? It doesn't take anything to laugh with your friends. It's not an expensive thing. Or laugh by yourself. Watch something funny. I get some of my biggest laughs by myself sitting at home watching something on YouTube, you know? Dancing dogs. I love the dancing dogs. Last night I became obsessed with watching all of these time traveler videos. My God. Have you ever watched those videos that talk about, like, all of the different artifacts that show that time traveling has, like, really happened? This is almost at 30 minutes. I didn't even realize that. It's 29 minutes and 40 seconds, so it's going to stop in 10 seconds. I'm going to get off here, let the camera cool down. Hopefully that'll work, and I'll be back in a few. Okay, I've been sitting here in the parking lot of Meijer which I didn't even go in. I just parked here because I wanted to read through my Goodreads thread. And look how red that looks. It's got to be the shirt color. But I'm sitting there. I'm going to turn this off till I leave. I was reading the threads from the book club, Peter's book club, which I kind of feel bad that I'm called it Peter's book club now, because it's so obviously not just my book club, which I think is awesome. And there was this thread on there that I didn't even see, and it was called like Good Judy's, and people are like sharing their personal information and becoming friends with each other on there, and it's just like, it really warmed my heart. It like made me so happy. I was like, I don't know, it was so cool. Like I love when you come up with an idea and then you know, put it into fruition, and then it grows and it becomes something that's greater than itself, that you really have nothing to do with. And it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. And I'm really thinking about starting the channel where I upload people's stories. I thought a lot about it the other night, and I thought, this is something on YouTube that isn't out there. It's something that is, I think, would be a cool idea if people could collectively come and tell their stories. There did not have to be any schedule. I could just upload them whenever I got them, you know? And I shared this on here the other night, and a couple people said something about it, but not a lot of people. So I thought, well, maybe it's not a good idea. So I would really like to know what you guys think, but I was talking about it in reference to like a couple people that have made videos or started channels since I have been on here, and said, you know, thank you for inspiring me to tell my story, you know. And whether your story is, you know, some tragic thing that you've gone through, or something very, very good, or something inspirational, or just what it's like to be a mom or a grandma or, you know, grandfather or uncle, or whatever your story is, like, to just be able to get that out there and have it be a place where people collectively come and tell their stories, I think would be really interesting. I would not monetize the channel. I would have absolutely no ads on it whatsoever, so that people could come and just do what they tell their stories, you know, on there. I don't know, I'm finding myself this year I never thought that one of the things that I would enjoy the most from doing YouTube, I mean, I never thought of it, because I never you know, like, let's say if you make cookies for, I don't know, your kid's classroom, right? For like a birthday party. And you take the cookies in there, but like, you have no idea that there's a woman in there that owns a international bakery, and she eats one of your cookies and she says, your cookies are so good, like, I want to buy your cookies from you. I want you to buy the recipe. I want to help you, you know, like, we'll call them, you know, Peter's cookies or whatever. And then you'll, you know, sell them from my store, and then, you know, 2 years down the road, it's like you're all of a sudden, you know, this cookie conglomerate. But when you were making those cookies, you had no idea that she was even a mother in the classroom, or, you know what I mean? Like, you had no idea that there was any chance that you could never even kind of script it or think that that could be an opportunity. You never sat there while you were making the cookies and thought to yourself, maybe one day I'll be a cookie conglomerate, you know, because like, it was so far off your radar that you would never have thought it. One of the things that I never thought would happen as a result of me making videos on YouTube was that you guys would find each other, and you guys would become friends, and you guys would support each other. I never thought that people would really understand the importance of telling your story, of understanding your truth. And, you know, I watch so many videos from people, some that are very, very, channels that are small, under even 100 subs, under 50 subs. And I watch their videos, and their videos are so profound. And, you know, one of the things is that if every video I made, I shouted somebody out, people would stop subscribing to them. People would stop watching them. And so I try to kind of be careful, you know, like how often I do it and when I do it. But it's something that, like, because I think at some point it would become disingenuous, you know, and be like, oh, Peter's just shouting at all these people. But I would like to give everybody the opportunity and the place to tell their story. Maybe a lot of people don't want to start a channel, you know? Maybe somebody just wants to upload a video and, I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comment section below. I've really been thinking a lot recently about what I want to do to contribute to the world positively. And, and I don't necessarily believe that it would be a channel that would explode overnight, and I don't know that I even care if it only had 100 subs on it, you know? I just think it would be a cool concept to have people be able to come over there and hear their story, and it would be a way for me to meet some of you guys, because I think, like, if I was able to, like, watch the video and say, hey, like, I think I need to leave this part out, or, you know, like, you can't say somebody's name, or there would be a way to interact with people. And it's hard, you know, like, I try to keep up with the emails and the social media and stuff, and I never thought I would get to a point where I just couldn't keep up with it, but I just can't keep up with it. It's a lot, and it makes me sad, because, like, that's the part that I love the most, you know? That being said, the book club is at 517 members, which is just crazy to me. I mean, it's crazy to me when I think there are that many people, and I know that not everybody's reading the book, and the book that we're reading right now, I think everybody thinks is a total dud. Except for that I sat outside and I read almost 75 pages last night, and I just kind of couldn't put it down. I thought it was really fast-paced. I didn't think it was as scary as the last time I read it, but I thought it was pretty fast-paced. But I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it. I read some of it today. You know, sometimes, like, your purpose in the world, I don't think is always this huge thing. You know what I mean? Like, what if me having to have 4 different channels was also that I was sitting in a car one night thinking about coming up with a channel where there was a platform for people to tell their stories, because one person out there needed to tell their story. And what if we were connected in some weird way, and that was what it was all for? Who knows, you know? But I think, like, I'm an ideas guy, and I come up with these ideas, and one of the things that's been hard for me in my life is that people have always discouraged my ideas, you know? Peter, you think too many ideas. You have too many ideas, and you don't, you know, do half of them. Or, you know, like, oh, you're such a dreamer. Or, you know what I mean? And, like, I don't know why anybody would discourage somebody else's dreams or be a dream killer. I don't understand it. Somebody said in my Peterisms video today, they said, you seemed really sad in the video. I don't feel sad today. I don't really at all. Sometimes I don't know how to explain this. I'm not sad, but My reflection of looking at how things happen make me sad in the world. And I think my level of realizing how powerless I am over all those kinds of things. That the reality is that shit just is going to happen sometimes. And it's not nice, and but it just is what it is. And I feel like that a lot. You know, I feel like I don't know, it's just like there's so much sadness out there sometimes, but there's so much happiness too. And I think like that's really like the trick for me is the balance of it. And I'm not good at balance at all. Like I'm just not, you know, like I'm not good at balancing things at all. And I remember like my first sponsor was, I don't even consider him my first sponsor. He was like this guy, and my counselor like hooked me up with him because I needed a sponsor to leave treatment. But my second sponsor was actually the husband of a friend of mine that I used to work with her. And I got him as a sponsor when I was probably like 9 months sober. And we were in a meeting one time, and the topic was balance in our lives. And I said, it came to me, and I was like, wanted to sound really like, good. I was 9 months sober. I wanted my shit to sound like, I didn't stink. And I was like, I think I do a pretty good job balancing my life, and I balance my job, and I balance my friends and whatever. And it got to him, and he said, I have absolutely no balance in my life whatsoever. He was like, I try to do a really good job balancing my life, but I just can't. And I remember just like looking at him, mesmerized by his honesty. And I was like, man, that honesty is so attractive in people to me, And that's who I've aimed to be for 23 and a half years. He passed away. He overdosed on heroin. It's sometimes hard when the people that have taught you the most in your life, and they taught you some of the most valuable lessons, weren't able to take those lessons themselves. I don't know if that makes sense, but the people that teach us the most valuable things in our lives are sometimes the people that need to learn those valuable lessons themselves, and they don't. And I think, he was my sponsor until I was 4 years sober. And that was almost 20 years ago that he's passed away. And passed away with a needle in his arm, There's something about the stillness of night that I love. Alex just sent me this video, and it was absolutely adorable, and it was on Facebook, and it was this chihuahua that looked exactly like Pee-Pee. And somebody out there that's watching this has probably seen it, because it's kind of like viral right now, I think. And it's this chihuahua, and he's playing like pool on the pool table. He's like pushing all of the pool balls into the whole, like the pockets in the pool table. It's adorable, and it reminds me so much of Pee-Pee, like when he gets all riled up and chases the dogs around in the bed. And isn't it crazy that those are like the things that makes me happy today? I love feeling the air on a summer night. The other day I was like I walked outside to get the mail, and I didn't have any shoes on. And I stopped, and I realized I hadn't walked in like grass barefoot in a long time, and it almost felt weird. It almost felt like uncomfortable at first. And then I just stopped for a second. And sometimes when I take the dogs outside, I sit down in the driveway, Do you ever remember like sitting down in the driveway when you were like a kid? God, not even a kid, like in high school we used to do that, you know? We'd sit in the driveway and smoke cigarettes, and but the driveway would be like real hot in the summer, you know, even at night, because it retained all that heat. It's like when you stand up against a brick. Did you ever stand up against a brick wall in the summer, you know, and it would like retains all the heat from the day? I'd kind of forgotten what that was like to stand in the grass, you know? Such a fun time at dinner tonight. It was so much fun. You know what's so funny is, like, I was with Tanya before, and because we got a pedicure. Did I say that on here earlier? I got a pedicure today with Tanya. I don't know if I said that, but I did. Yeah, because I filmed on the way back. My legs are literally, because I couldn't take a shower before I went, like, she put the lotion and everything all over my legs, and so I keep on, and the sugar scrub, and then she washed it off and put this lotion on there, so I keep on touching my legs, and they're like greasy. Oh my God. But anyway, I said to Tanya on the way, like when I was dropping her off, I was like, I so don't want to go to dinner. I just want to like go home and take a nap and relax for a little bit. And she was like, well, why don't you just not go to dinner? Why don't you just, you know, go home and take a nap? Alex won't care. And I said, well, Tanya, I said, you're the one that taught me that I need to suit up and show up sometimes and go do this stuff, right? I said, it's just dinner with some friends. And I said, you know, I got like a good dinner. And she just laughed. And I said, no, we'll have fun. And I said, you know, sometimes it's important for me just to like go and shut up and not, you know, like the yellow light just came on, to just go and not complain and just, you know, float. Like I said this like a couple months ago, that I was trying to just float and do things and not like be resistant even within my heart. And so like tonight I didn't. I like just went home and I ironed this shirt and I threw in a pair of blue shorts and went and got there like 15 minutes before Alex did, because he met me from work, and had a great time, you know, like walked in and talked to Luce and her boyfriend, and we just had a good time, you know. It was just like, it was easy, it was comfortable. And I think like in the past, I would be so resistant to everything that I just couldn't enjoy anything. And it was so much fun. And it was so funny because they were like, no, we like it when you tell stories. Tell the story, Peter. And I was like, no, let Alex. I don't want to tell it. Alex would start telling a story. And then they'd be like, I would interrupt and they'd go, oh, Peter tells such a funny story. And Alex would like say, like, you tell it, Peter. You're so much funnier than I am. I'm like, no, honey, tell it. Tell the story. And, you know, but it's like, it was fun. It was easy. Nice. I feel like life should be like that, you know? Shit's still gonna happen. Tragic, sad stuff's still gonna happen. But it's the moments in between, you know? It's the bitter and the sweet. So no, I'm not sad tonight. I'm just very reflective on life, and I'm very grateful for my life that I have tonight, and I will go to bed with happiness in my heart and my dogs and my husband all around me. I hope. Sometimes I get into bed and I'm like, right now I'm so ready just to lay my head on the pillow and just like fall asleep like that. But those are the nights I lay there and 2 hours later I'm still awake thinking. Do you ever do that? I hate that. It drives me nuts. So anyway, I love you guys. I am going to get off here before the camera shuts itself off. And I will see you tomorrow. It's almost the weekend. So, I mean, that's something to be excited about, right? All right, I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.